Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. Good morning, Debo.
Top of the morning to you,
Good
sir.
morning, Jermaine.
Good morning.
How's everybody this morning?
Great, great, sir. How about yourself?
Doing good. I guess I should move, huh?
Did you oversleep?
No, man, I was up. Like I said, when I heard that gospel at 7:03,
Like I'm
I
late.
didn't know if I didn't know if there was a station change or
I know what you said. You said,
you know,
was that one of them Elvis moments?
remember those Elvis moments, man.
We switch here,
Yeah,
switch
we
overnight.
didn't come in. I'm going like they playing Elvis. That means WMCS has left the building.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Man, they
good mo-
called us in for that meeting, and we had this big old staff meeting. And when we came out of the conference room, they were playing Elvis, complete with drops. Welcome to the home of Elvis Radio, huh?
And I was watching that. I switched mics.
Yeah, he switched mics on you.
Gotcha.
Man.
I was watching.
Play musical chairs with this guy.
They did a nice documentary on Elvis's comeback when he did that 1968 TV special that he did, and yeah, I always talk about Elvis. How good Elvis could sing, though. Elvis could sing. I know a lot of people got mad because they felt like, he was getting all the credit and Little Richard and Chuck Berry, those. But you got to give Elvis his due, man. Elvis could sing. So,
Yeah. Well, even though it was really stolen from Roy Hampton.
whoever he stole it from, he was still able to do it.
Yeah,
it ain't
but
like he nilly vanilly.
see, but he had, yeah, and that's true. However,
Girl,
that
you know
wasn't,
it's true.
but that wasn't originally how he really sung or sang, I should say.
Oh, but he used to go to black churches.
Yeah, he used to go to black church just so he can pick up on that and
Yeah.
pick up the mannerisms and the riffs and rolls.
I know I have people. I said, we need to understand that a lot of what you see in the South was really hybrid. It was Scott Irish, Anglo-Saxon, and it was African, and you blend. So you can go to white Pentecostal churches, and they're doing a lot of the same music you would see in a black church.
Yeah.
So we're probably a little bit more because we created a mongrel race. So anyway, I was gonna do trivia this morning, and I'll say this one for tomorrow. But hey, today is Thursday, Throwback Thursday. We have a guest at the top of the hour, so we're gonna do Throwback Thursday trivia. I should have had you play a song to wake people up, let them get engaged. Oh, let me say Roy Ayers. I got a chance to hear and see Roy Ayers live twice. I saw him. Newport used to do a jazz series in the park in DC, and my buddy took me to see him. We went to this park. That was the first time I saw Roy Ayers, and then I think he was here for the Black and White Ball one year, and we went to see him. If it wasn't Black and White Ball, it could have been Project Equality, but I think it was Black and White Ball. So yeah, man, and everybody like my life, my life, my life. But no, that one you played, searching, searching.
Man.
All right, phone lines open, y'all. Wake up. Let's do some trivia, and I'm not gonna make it hard like Carolyn. I'm gonna give you multiple choices. So 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Here is our first Throwback Thursday trivia question. Number one, the greatest love of all is from this movie soundtrack: Waiting to Exhale, The Bodyguard, The Greatest. The song The Greatest Love of All is from this soundtrack: Waiting to Exhale, The Bodyguard, The Greatest. Got a caller. Morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Elise, and it's from the Bodyguard.
No.
No, well, anyway, I got something else to tell you.
You always sneak it in, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Okay, this is what's going to happen this coming up weekend. I've been losing control, and so I'm going to Rogers Behavioral Health Saturday. I don't know when I'll return.
Okay.
because it's more to other than drug use. It's a lot of other spiritual and
Okay.
emotional health that's going on. Because it's like devil's advocates on sometime in my house, and it's like I'm seeing things move.
Okay.
And I've just been going through since December, and I can't handle myself anymore. But anyway,
Well, we're praying
I
for
just
you.
want to let you go.
Get the
Thank
help.
you, because I sure need it.
All right,
And,
babe.
all right, love you all.
Love you too. The greatest love of all is from this movie soundtrack. 414-444-5250. 444-5250. And so, man, come on. This is an easy one. It's from this soundtrack. Waiting to Exhale, we know now is not The Bodyguard or The Greatest. 414-444-5250.
I'm over here thinking like, I'm trying not to use Google and cheat,
Well,
but I'm over here thinking.
Keith, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
George Benson cut that before Whitney did. So if we use the timeline, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, that ain't help.
Yeah, I did.
It didn't help me. 'Cause I'm trying to think of the movie he was in because you said the soundtrack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember seeing the movie
Mm-hmm.
because I remember that song.
Come on, y'all. Y'all can Google it.
I
414-444-5250. You can Google it. 414-444-5250. The greatest love of all. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. You got it? What did it come up? It popped up yet? What year? What's the name of the movie? That's correct. That was Muhammad Ali's biopic, The Greatest. And somebody just popped in, right?
So the key to that, Jermaine, was that if George Benson cut it way back then, then that was the clue.
See, but I was thinking, I don't know, man. I just got to.
Hey, caller.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. You have an answer?
Yes, can I hear the three songs again?
The greatest love of all is from this movie soundtrack, Waiting to Exhale, The Bodyguard, The Greatest.
Waiting to Exhale.
No.
No.
It was from The Greatest, George Benson, as Debo gave you all the clue. George Benson had wrote it, and it was, from the movie The Greatest, and Ali is in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah, I was wondering why I couldn't. I was 1 year old.
And of course, Whitney made it a bigger hit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And most people associate it with Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
All right. The movie CB4 was loosely based on this legendary rap group. The movie CB4 was loosely based on this legendary rap group, Run DMC, Digital Underground, or NWA.
Oh, that's an easy one. I ain't gonna answer it. I'm gonna let them call in.
414-444-5250. The movie CB4, Chris Rock's CB4, was loosely based on this legendary group, Run DMC, Digital Underground, or NWA. Give y'all like a minute. Come on, somebody know this one.
I already know it.
If you've seen the movie, come on.
I know it.
414-444-5250. Yeah, do. All right. Okay. The movie CB4 was loosely based on this legendary rap group, Run DMC, Digital Underground, or NWA. And the answer is NWA, because in the movie, you got Ice Cube and Eazy-E. And as a matter of fact, even though they changed the lyrics, some of those songs you heard were NWA songs in terms of, so again, the CB4 movie was loosely based on the legendary rap group NWA. All right. Sidney Poitier won an Academy Award for this movie. In the Heat of the Night, guess who's coming to dinner? Lilies of the Field. Sidney Poitier won an Academy Award for this movie. In the Heat of the Night, Guess who's coming to dinner? Lilies of the Field. Got a caller? Caller, welcome to the program.
Look who's coming to dinner.
No.
Oh, man, I can't never win nothing.
0 for 2.
You old for this morning.
No wonder I'm going to Rogers.
414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Sidney Poitier won an Academy Award for this movie, In the Heat of the Night. Guess who's coming to dinner? Lilies of the Field.
Well,
Caller, welcome to the program.
Yeah.
You got it there?
What was the 3 again?
In the Heat of the Night. Guess who's coming to dinner? Lilies of the Field.
Lily of the Field.
That's absolutely correct. Give him some applause. Yeah, we can.
because the heat of the night was
Rod
show.
Steiger won. Yeah, no, there was also a movie. Rod Steiger won the Academy Award for that. And then guess who's coming to dinner? I think Audrey Hepburn and Spencer Tracy might have won for that. But okay, you want to try this one, man?
What is it?
The Revolution Will Not Be Televised was written by Kendrick Lamar, The Last Poets, Gil Scott Heron. Got a caller.
Gil Scott Harris.
Good. All right, man. You on the roll.
2 for 2.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I got another one for him. What happened on the 3rd of September? First time I ever saw your face. We held hands, laughed, and played. It was the day my daddy died. What happened on September the 3rd?
The day my daddy died.
By who?
Temptation.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
3 for 3.
Yeah, let me get this call. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Caller, you can call back 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. The oldest HBCU in America is the oldest black college in America is Cheney University, Fisk University, Howard University. The oldest HBCU in the country is Cheney University, Fisk University, Howard University. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yeah, hello.
Yep.
Could you give me the 3 again, Keith?
Cheney University, Fisk University, Howard University. Fisk University?
Yeah.
The alma mater of Malele Coggs and Nikki Giovanni?
Okay.
No, it wasn't. Appreciate you, man. The callers hang up real quick, so call back. I know. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. The oldest HBCU in America is Cheney University, Fisk University, Howard University. Caller, welcome to the program.
Howard.
Nope.
Sorry.
All right, caller, welcome to the program. She's maybe get it now. The oldest HBCU in America is Cheney University, Fisk University, Howard University. Caller, welcome to the program.
How you doing, Keith?
I'm good.
This is Rick from Germany.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say that the oldest university the black university in America is Cheney.
That's correct. Cheney.
But you can mail my Mercedes automobile to me.
Okay. It's in the mail.
Talk to y'all later.
As soon as I get out of here, I'm dropping it in the mail. That's correct. Cheney University became Cheney State, was founded by the Quakers in 1837. 1837. All right. Got a few more for you. Oh, man. Oh, God. We got an Earth, Wind, and Fire question.
Uh-oh.
We got an Earth, Wind, and Fire question. In the Earth, Wind, and Fire song September 21st is significant because of its astrological significance. It's one of the most popular days for people to marry. It has no significance at all. In the EWF song September 21st is significant because of its astrological significance. It's one of the most popular days for people to get married. It has no significance at all. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Caller, welcome to the program.
No significant. I can't say it. The last one you said.
It has no significance at all. That is the correct answer.
I finally won something.
There you go.
I want 2 tickets to Ben and Jerry's.
Okay.
So I can eat all the ice cream up.
There you go.
It's more like you're going to get 2 tickets for Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, no.
The fight.
I want the ice cream.
The fight of the century, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct. When they interviewed members of the band, they said it had no significance, but it kind of rhymed, went along with the rhythm of it. And yes, that is absolutely correct. It has no significance, even though it is one of the most popular days for people to get married, September 21st.
Really?
Do you remember 21st of September? A whole lot of people thought it had significance, so they get married. So next September 21st, notice the number of people who will be getting married on the 21st of September based on that song.
Oh, wow.
Appreciate you, Solis.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We got 2 more for you. Alpha Phi Alpha, the oldest black Greek letter organization, was founded in 1906 at Howard University, Morehouse College, Cornell University. Alpha Phi Alpha, the oldest black Greek letter organization, was founded in 1906 at Howard University, Morehouse College, Cornell University. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Alpha Phi Alpha, the oldest black Greek letter organization in America, was founded in 1906 at Howard University, Morehouse College, Cornell University. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Howard, it was Cornell University in Ithaca, New York.
That's absolutely correct. It was Cornell University, which is interesting. The oldest black fraternity or Greek letter organization was founded at a predominantly white institution. And I think there's a couple of sororities that were founded in Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sigma Gamma Rho.
Sigma Gamma Rho. There's another one too, right? The 2 in Indiana. One was at DePaul. DePaul.
Well, it wasn't not a black sorority. I know the Kappas are in Indiana too.
Kappas too?
They're in Indiana. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they call it Indy Love.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that was that always fascinated me that the oldest black Greek letter organization was founded at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more, y'all.
My name is Bailey Nudie. I play wheelchair
Sly
basketball.
Stone was this when he formed Sly and the Family Stone. A church musician, a record store owner, a radio DJ. Sly Stone was this when he formed Sly and the Family Stone, a church musician, a record store owner, a radio DJ. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Good morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is B.
Record store owner?
No.
What was it?
Huh?
Church musician?
No. Say it again. Say the other one. 'Cause I was thinking about the first question, but no, church musician. I'm going with that one.
He was a church musician
Yeah,
at his daddy's church?
yeah.
No. 414, appreciate you. 414-444-5250. Sly Stone was this when he formed Sly and the Family Stone. A church musician, a record store owner, a radio DJ. Caller, welcome to the program.
All right. A radio DJ.
Say that again?
A radio DJ.
That's absolutely correct. He was a radio DJ. He could have played at his daddy's church too. Yeah, I heard. I think I got it in my Apple, but there's a song. He actually recorded a couple of songs when he was a kid. He did a gospel song, and then he did an R&B song. So it's like on these little 45s that Sly had did. But yeah, he was a DJ. All right, that's actually pretty good, man.
Yeah. And outside of people going 1 for 3, and we had one go 3 for 3. He was 100%.
Yeah, it's 100%, man. Yeah, that story behind the 3rd September. I think that's Norman Whitfield. I don't know whose daddy.
Really?
And I don't know if it was David Rufford or somebody. And he came up to him. He said, "Man, my daddy died on the 3rd of September." He said, "Man, I know nothing about your daddy when I wrote this song. I was just writing a song. I know nothing about your daddy when he was dying." Let me and
the movie though, wasn't it Smokey that presented that song to him?
In the movie?
In the Temptation Story, the movie?
trying to see. Let's see. It was the 3rd of September. Song by, let's see, who wrote it? Norman Whitfield.
Okay.
Barrett Strong and Norman Whitfield. Papa was a Rolling Stone. All right, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Throwback Thursday. If you guys got one for me, call me, 414-444-5250. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back. And caller, we thank you for your patience. Welcome to the program.
Okay, this is for my Cuban grandson. This is his weather from Cuba. You did not give your grandma her hand clap when I won.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's
And
take
not
care.
only
Let's
that-
clean that up.
Okay, right, clean that up. And now the throwback card is this. When Keon was still with us, and we used to ask about the color of the Kool-Aid. I mean, what was our flavor, best flavor? And I would always call in and say the red kind. And I miss Keon. I love you guys.
Oh, you too. And that
And
was
make sure Michelle knows I won't be calling in because it'll probably be 3 or 4 months before I return.
okay. I think she can hear it. So,
Oh, okay.
all right. Yeah, Keon. We, it was. I think it's morbid trivia, but you hear this term, they drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah. And that, again, is kind of a morbid kind of thing, but it is taken from what happened in the Jonestown Massacre in Jonestown, Guyana. And but it was not Kool-Aid, the brand. It was Weiler's.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, 414-444-5250-414 Throwback Thursday. I was sitting up and some of the questions I had in my mind. I'll throw this one out here. Dick Anthony Williams played, and I'll give you a couple options. He played Pretty Ricky. He played Pretty Tony in the movie The Mac.
Mm.
Dick Anthony Williams, was he Pretty Ricky? Was he Pretty Tony in The Mac? 414-444-5250.
That's a good one.
Dick Anthony Williams, was he Pretty Ricky? Or was he Pretty Tony in the movie The Mac? I'll give y'all a couple more minutes. Brothers gonna work it out. Brothers gonna work it out. I choose you, babe.
Hey, Pretty Ricky is what they call him.
Pretty Ricky, what they call him.
So Pretty Ricky had a brother.
Dick Anthony Williams played Pretty Ricky, or did he play Pretty Tony in The Mac?
Mm.
Come on, man.
I mean, I know it.
Who he played?
He played Pretty Tony.
He played Pretty Tony.
Yeah. Played pretty,
Shut your mic.
Pretty Tony is what they call it.
When grown folks talk.
Yeah. Shut your mouth, man.
Now, Pretty Ricky was from what series?
Martin.
Martin.
when he went back to the reunion.
It was funny because, they did this thing on the Lakers. And they was talking about Rick Fox.
Rick Fox.
They said Pretty Ricky, what they call him.
Yeah.
And then in Blackish, the oldest daughter really believes that Rick Fox is her daddy.
Oh.
She always say Rick Fox my daddy. Rick Fox is my daddy. Pretty Ricky. He was, had the hair.
Yeah.
I just saw a little piece on Reggie Theus.
Oh.
And that man, Pretty Reggie.
Pretty Reggie.
Pretty Reggie.
Reggie Theus.
Reggie Theus, when he was at UNLV, that dude had
was a
that
monster,
bush.
though.
And then when he got to the Bulls,
Yeah.
and boy, and everybody was questioning that dude's sexuality. He got like 8 kids.
Yeah.
But he's coaching at Bethune-Cookman. He's coaching basketball at Bethune-Cookman right now. But before there was Michael Jordan, it was Reggie Theus for the Bulls. Him
Now-
and Orlando Woolridge.
I see his face, but speaking of before it was Michael Jordan, the young man from Chicago. Um, he was in the 80s. I see his face. I can't think of his name, but he got killed. He was a high school.
Benji.
What was his?
Was it Benji Wallace?
No, that
No, his first name was Benjamin.
yeah. I just can't think of his.
Oh, God. Because he went to school with R. Kelly.
Went to school with R. Kelly. He was one of the greatest basketball players that would have came out of Chicago.
Out of Chicago.
And he was hanging with some friends that he thought was his friends.
No. Him and his girlfriend got into
yeah.
And he bumped into the dude.
Oh, so he had bumped into the dude.
He bumped into dude, and dude, what was Benjamin?
I see his face, man. I can't think of this cat name, man. But he was, some of his highlight films is just crazy, man.
Chicago.
Benjamin
Wilson.
Benji was, yeah. Benji,
Thanks, Pastor Benjamin Wilson.
Yeah.
And because him and I guess R. Kelly was a good ball player.
Yeah, man.
But he was into Benji Wilson.
Yeah.
And he was gonna, because he got killed. I think they won. He was at Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And they won the state championship.
Yep,
so they're coming back as a junior. He's his senior year.
Yeah.
He got this thing going on with his girl.
Yeah.
And then he bumped into dude, and they did a nice documentary on him. And dude was like, "Look, man, I was a kid. I didn't."
So that wasn't Truman that the girl set him up.
No.
Okay.
That was just one of those chance things. Life is random.
Yeah.
And that's Chicago.
Yeah.
And you know what that's like, talk about gangster paradise.
Yeah.
That is but Benji Wilson, he King had a long line. Wasn't Jabari Parker was he at King?
He might have been.
Or Whitney Houston?
No, man, I think
Whitney
they
Houston,
said that he came
Whitney
out of the same school that Benji went.
That would have been King, Jabari Parker.
I mean, but don't give me the quote. I can look it up and see if that's what you're doing. But I know that he came out of a nice high school.
Oh yeah, it was like, I think King was.
Was it the same school that Rose came out of too?
Derrick Rose?
Yeah.
Let's see, the Bucks, Duke. I forgot he played at Duke. Let's see what high school he went to. Jabari Parker went to Milwaukee. Gatorade Freshman of the Year, National High School Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American. Oh, he was at Simeon.
So I think that's the same school that Rose.
Derrick Rose. Yeah. Let's see where did
Yeah, Simeon had some ball players that come up out of there.
Yeah, I mean, you get those schools back in the day. Westinghouse was a power when Mark Aguirre was there. Terry Cummings on the west side.
Because the majority of them cats went to DePaul.
Yeah.
Okay.
They stayed home.
Because Doc Rivers is from Illinois.
Yeah, but Doc Rivers he's from a suburb outside. What was it? Proviso East. I think that's where he played.
Okay.
And because him and Isaiah Thomas was at St. Joseph's
High School.
St. Joseph's High School.
I know
and they were contemporaries. Yeah. Oh man. He and then what was the movie they did? God, I can't think of this movie documentary. Because one of the guys, Gates, ended up at Marquette. Hoop Dreams.
Hoops. Okay.
And Gates, the one kid ended up going to public school. He flunked out of Maywood, Illinois, Proviso East.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Thomas was at St. Joseph's. And William Gates was at St. Joseph's, and he ended up coming to Marquette and playing ball at Marquette.
Now I know here in Milwaukee, we've had some great basketball talents too that could have went to the league, like Silas Mills. He was an excellent basketball player.
Played.
but not in the NBA.
I thought he did play.
No. Though he played in college, and then he ended up going to that JUCO college. But then that's all you heard from him because I think he got in trouble. So you got Silas Mills that was excellent. You got Terry Black that was man. He could jump out the gym. And I think he went to Mesmer.
He was at Mesmer. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Summernique that went to Custard. So it was a lot of cats, man, that had the potential, man, to actually make it out outside of Sprewell.
From Washington. Stretch. Yeah, I can't think of. Thanks, man. Stretch.
Man, where my candy at, brother?
So, what do you think? As a former baller, who do you think is probably, when you just look at just great basketball dynasties in the city, and I'll just in the Milwaukee area, metro area, what teams would you look at?
I would look at that Washington squad, man.
Which one? With Sprewell?
No. It was after Sprewell. They had I want to say like in the 90s. It was in the 90s. Because King and Washington used to always have those games that was huge around the city. So everybody used to go to those King and Washington games.
Well, and King and Washington are linked because of Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon won a state championship with King, and he won one, I think, at Washington. I don't know how many he won, but he won state championships at two different schools. All right. Caller, welcome to the program.
How y'all doing today?
Good. What's happening?
Interesting conversation. If it wasn't for internet to save y'all lives, y'all be going through some stuff. I'm glad y'all fought the internet because Mr. Wilson and all the stellar ball players went to Simeon. After Benji died, in honoring him, most players wore his jersey.
Yeah.
Jabari was the only one who didn't.
Jabari Parker
didn't wear his jersey. The number
Simeon.
Simeon.
Simeon. Yeah. Because I knew it. And there was a lot of people that came out of that school. Yeah, okay.
And Kendrick, is it Kendrick? I forget the young man's name. He went to Oakland. He went to Illinois and went to Oakland. He probably was the best player on that team from Simeon because they won 4 straight titles. Yeah, a little dark skin.
Yeah, he was a monster. He could shoot out the gym. Yeah.
Best basketball teams in the city of Milwaukee or iconic. That run that Vincent had in the 90s.
Sure did.
With Jose Winston?
With Jose and that small four.
What were the Landrys? The Landry brothers,
The
right?
Landrys.
Yeah.
That goes into the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Marshall Williams, James Wright.
Yeah, James Wright. Because because James ended up going to UWM, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And probably the best ball player that touched the floor in Milwaukee, Greg Brown.
That's my dude, man. Greg was a monster.
Where did he play?
He played at Vincent, and he went to.
Yep, he played at.
He went to JUCO with Steven Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Listen, Greg Brown's even to this day, man. I mean, GB can still ball, man.
All right, man.
Y'all have a great one.
All right, appreciate you. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello?
Yep.
Yes, good morning, Keith. Hey, I just wanted to shine in on the conversation y'all was having a minute ago about Ben Wilson, the basketball player. Him and Anthony Hardaway was real good friends, too, during that time. And during the time that Ben Wilson was killed, I was actually incarcerated with his killer down in Joliet back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he was real good friends with Anthony Hardaway during that time. They both come up at the same time.
And that brother who ended up killing him now, he does work for returning citizens down in Chicago.
I seen that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
so,
man.
Yeah. All right.
Ain't he like a Muslim now? Or
Yeah.
Like something? Yeah, I did see that. Okay.
Caller, welcome to the program.
This has nothing to do with anything you guys are talking about. I just was thinking about Refrigerator Perry and the Chicago Bears team when McMahon was and Refrigerator Perry. I wonder what happened with him.
Who cares? He played for the Bears.
Right. Bears still suck.
Bears still suck.
Okay, wow.
Man, nobody care about the Bears. You call it here, you call about the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Okay, y'all got jokes.
Yeah, because you don't be calling in.
Refrigerator Perry was black.
You in Wisconsin, you in Milwaukee, be talking about no
I'm
Bears?
from Indiana, so you want me to start talking about the Hoosiers? Hey.
I mean, that's better than the Bears.
It's better than the Bears.
Okay, but I just really I want to know what happened to Refrigerator Perry. I know.
Didn't
I
he
mean,
get hurt 1 year?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still living.
Yeah, because he was really a huge guy. They say he weighed like 15 pounds, like Shaquille when he was born.
Yeah, he was a real refrigerator. Man,
Yeah,
that's where he got his name from. He
a couple of deep freezers,
as opposed to Gilbert Brown.
Right.
Because Gilbert Brown, what was he? What did they call him?
Grave digger.
Grave digger.
Yeah. He'll pull out the shovel. Yeah.
William the Perry Refrigerator. He's still alive.
Really?
Yep.
No, if he's still walking around looking like the refrigerator, he ain't gonna be around.
Oh man, he's still big, man.
Jesus.
They did. Somebody put on Facebook yesterday. They were saying a football player, like a receiver, that maybe no one really knew about, but was good. And my guy, he put in Golden Richards, who played for the Cowboys back in the day. Golden Richards played with Roger Staubach, Drew Pearson. Okay. And then they got the other guy, Hill, right? But the thing about Golden Richards was his hair matched his name. He had that gold blonde hair coming out the back of his helmet. I tell you somebody else, and he still works with the NFL, Gene Washington, back in the day. Gene Washington's fro used to come out that's what we wanted to do when we was in high school, had that fro come out from under, come out the bottom of your helmet. Yeah. But a name I know neither one of you guys know anything about was a guy named Isaac Curtis, who played with the Cincinnati Bengals. He played when Icky, I think he was around the time. Icky Woods. And the thing that I always remembered about Isaac was whenever he scored a touchdown, he was the first guy to drop the ball over his back.
Really?
Yeah.
So who was the guy that played for the Packers? He was one. I can't think of his name. I see his face, but they used to call him the Magic Man. Don Mikowski. Now
that was before Brett Favre.
Now that's who I remember that used to, like, he was the first playmaker I saw on the Green Bay side that was able to, that
mobile quarterback.
Yeah, that was able to make plays and get up out of situation.
Before was it RG3 and Lamar Jackson? There was a guy, and I hate to mention it because he played for the Bears back in the late 60s, early 70s, Bobby Douglas. Bobby Douglas was a left-handed quarterback. I think he rushed for over 900 yards as a quarterback because they had no line. But yeah, in terms of scrambling quarterbacks, everybody talked about Fran Tarkenton. That was another scrambling quarterback. And then we get to, I want to say Randall Cunningham, but Randall Cunningham didn't have to scramble because Randall Cunningham had an arm.
He had an arm. He could throw it down.
And he set the record for the longest punt in NFL, 90-some yards. Punt. Randall Cunningham.
From Philadelphia?
Philly, and then he went up and hooked up with Moss in Minnesota.
Why was Randall punting?
I don't know. He was also a punter. He was all around athlete. And then his brother was Sam Bam Cunningham for the USC Trojans back in the day. That was his brother, his older brother. Y'all. And here's another little bit of trivia.
Y'all.
Yeah, y'all. Here's another little bit of trivia. Michelle talked about it. She was talking about Ralph Metcalf. She also pointed out that Jackie Robinson's brother Mac was on that Olympic team from UCLA. He's from UCLA. And then that's where Robinson ended up going. He was a 3-sport athlete, I think, there. Jackie Robinson, football, basketball, and track, baseball. Yeah. All right. You're listening to Community Voices Throwback Thursday. So thank you all who have participated. So at least I'm so glad you got one of them.
Yeah, one.
Don't say it like that.
Okay,
man.
I'm just saying, man.
Bears,
The Bears.
The Bears still suck. They got a song called The Bears Still
Oh
Suck.
man, you can't and try to buy some Bears gear in Milwaukee. Good luck on that. Good luck on that. You ain't gonna get it here. You have to go down to Kenosha.
Ray City, Kenosha.
Yeah, you ain't
About
gonna
as
get
bad
it
as
here.
going over there trying to get ketchup to go on your hot dog.
Oh man,
You can't get no ketchup in Chicago.
you can't get no ketchup in Philly for your hot dog.
Really?
That's the first time I found out we weren't supposed to be putting ketchup on a hot dog. I had classmates from Philly. God, what was those sisters' name? There were 2 sisters from Philly, and they we were doing hot dogs. And I'm looking for the ketchup. They go, you don't put you don't put ketchup on hot dogs.
So what you put on?
Mustard.
Just mustard.
I'm putting
Relish?
barbecue sauce, and I'm cool. Just give me some
And I'm looking at them going like, do you understand? I come from the capital of sausages. We have all kind of sausages here in Wisconsin. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. And let's get this caller and then we'll get to our guest. Caller, welcome to the program.
I heard Michelle mention Mr. Nita Ball was on the show yesterday. I had accidentally left the oven on and I was asleep. And I woke up to the fumes. But anyway, that person, that I was talking about one time, and I mentioned about the Judge's Chambers bathroom. But when I was with Wisdom in 2024, they came over there on Bell Phillips, and they were there, and there's an interview with the sheriff's department and stuff. And I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Nita Boss. She allowed me to walk up to her. None of the other sheriffs, were afraid or anything because I am very harmless in that manner. But anyway, she knows exactly who I was talking about because you and Michelle were hosting the show when I was finally released that part. Okay. But and I just want to write out and Michelle to know that. Yeah, she knows exactly what sheriff it was. Okay. And it was like a 20-year event before I was able to, let that go. Okay, bye.
All right, appreciate you. We have the great honor and pleasure to be joined in studio by Captain Belinda Bradley of the Milwaukee Fire Department. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. I know you're a little under the weather, but you said you wanted to be here. So
yes,
we appreciate that. So tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you, Captain Bradley.
Okay. I am Captain Belinda Bradley. I've been a captain for 2 years. I was promoted in 2023. I came on the department in 2004 as a firefighter. So I've been on, like I said, for about going on 21 years. I am the director currently of the Survive Alive House. I've been a firefighter for a number of years before I decided to take the exam for an officer, which would be the lieutenant's exam. I became a lieutenant 2015. And then after that, I took the test for captain's exam and was promoted to captain.
You grew up in Milwaukee?
And I did. I grew up in Milwaukee in the 53206 area code.
Shout out your schools.
So my schools are Our Avenue, Lancaster, Burleigh, and then I went to high school, Nicolay, in Glendale.
The other nights.
That's right, Nicolay Nights.
Yeah. I went to high school. We were also the Knights on Silver Spring. What made you want to become a firefighter?
That's interesting because, so here's the thing. One day I was coming home from school. I was in 5th grade, riding on the bus, coming home. There was a bunch of smoke that me and the kids, my other classmates, saw coming from my area, where I was about to get dropped off, going home. And it was interesting because all the kids just suddenly turned and looked at me because, my house is over in that area. And we're looking, the closer we got, we saw the smoke. The next thing we knew, we saw this fire. And we saw these people running around. I had never seen a firefighter before in my life, right? But I saw them and what they were doing. And they were going in to save, the family of the house that was burning. And I saw how hard they were working. And I am someone who also likes to help people, right? And so I thought, what a great thing. They're helping people. They're trying to save lives. That was what I thought was my first time seeing a firefighter. And so I thought right then and there, that's where the spark ignited. Unfortunately, one of the kids in the house did die. They did pass away, and it was one of my friends, family members. So years later, I was wondering, how do I become a firefighter? I didn't know anyone who knew firefighters. I didn't know anyone who knew how to become a firefighter, what you needed to do. So one day in the newspaper, I saw an article. It was about an inch long, inch wide. And it said that they were seeking firefighters. And I answered that call. I went and applied. The city of Milwaukee and I became a firefighter. Now, it was a little bit of a struggle because when I applied, I wasn't employed the first time. I tried 3 different times. And then subsequently, then I became a firefighter at that time. When I was promoted to lieutenant, there was a memory that came back to me, which was interesting because I had never thought about this before. When I was about 4 years old, we lived in the Brewers here area, and if you know those houses, they're huge, right? The duplexes are big. I was sitting on the porch in the summer with my mom. Kids were outside playing. I would follow my mother everywhere and anywhere. I was like right at her heel. Suddenly she jumped up, ran up the long flight of stairs to heaven. That's what I thought they were as a 4-year-old. They were long, right? It was a huge flight of stairs. And I went to follow her. She told me to stay right there. I did. I heard all of this rumbling, this noise, and I'm looking. I want to go, and find my mom. Next thing I know, she's coming down the stairs. I see this huge glow and all of this light and color. And I didn't know what I was looking at. She tells me, get out the way. I move over. The next thing I know, she's coming down the stairs with a huge recliner that's on fire. She's pulling it down the stairs, down the concrete stairs, off the porch, onto the sidewalk. At that time, I knew that was the first time I saw a firefighter. That was my mom. Yep, and that was the seed that was in me. I didn't realize that until it came back when I was promoted to lieutenant.
Did you? I know that they have. They have the fire cadet program, correct?
Excuse me. Yes, the fire cadet program.
Did you go through that program?
No, the fire cadet program started, I believe, they had the fire cadet program. They revamped it in 2012. I believe it initially was like 6 months, and it's very different now. It's a 2-year program, and you have to be 18 or graduate from high school. And you go, it's like an apprenticeship, but it's a paid apprenticeship that you go through their program for 2 years. They come out with different certifications, being firefighter, also a paramedic. They have credits that they can use in college because they also take classes through MATC. So it's a totally different program. So no, that started in 2012, way later.
So you were determined to get into the fire department.
I was determined to get into the fire department. I didn't know anyone who was a firefighter. I didn't have any relatives who were firefighters, and I didn't know a firefighter.
That was always one of the you saw that, and I'm assuming that Milwaukee's fire department was like a lot of urban fire departments where it was generations of folks who were there, and you even saw it with the police department. And for descendants of African Americans, it wasn't that many.
That's correct.
One of the reasons why they started the Brotherhood of Black Firefighters,
That's
right,
correct.
was
the Milwaukee Brotherhood of Firefighters,
right, to get more Black firefighters or more people interested in becoming a firefighter. So, what were some of the challenges you had? I mean, if you don't want to share it.
There are a lot of challenges. One of the challenges, like I said in the beginning, was just being able to get into it, not knowing how to do that, right? If you don't have the information, how do you find that out? So, and if with my circle group, my family or friends or who they knew, if they didn't know any firefighters, how then would I know how to get into it, right? So that was one of the challenges, just not knowing. But today, of course, we go into schools. We have our cadet program. We have our Junior Fire Institute program. It's the JFI, where kids can come on a Saturday and they can hang out with the instructors, and they go to different things. They go through different scenarios. They teach them different things about firefighting to get them interested in becoming a firefighter. They didn't have that program. And if they did, I didn't know about it when I was younger. And I didn't know anyone who did know about it. So that was one of the struggles. Also, when you mentioned the Milwaukee the Milwaukee Brotherhood of Firefighters, one of the things about that is, yes, they pushed hard to have Black people in, minorities, women into the department. So they really pushed hard to the point where they had to go to court, unfortunately, to have that done. So it was a struggle, but I'm glad that I'm here.
Yeah, I think that, those barriers that a lot of times people, it sometimes it's not just outright discrimination. A lot of times, as you said, one, you don't know that you can be a firefighter, or two, it's a generation. So you grew up with that. You know what to expect when you go in for the test.
That's
I
right.
mean, the whole thing. And so it's always, and unfortunately, in most urban areas, you still see a dearth of Black and minority and women on fire departments.
hmm That's correct.
What, in terms of the whole fitness piece,
Right.
you do the same fitness as the men, correct?
So I was just going to mention that as part of one of the struggles or the challenges, I should say, coming on, you don't know what you're getting into, right? And I was always physical as a child. I was always strong. I was into sports. I did things, right? So that piece going into the fire department was not it was not new to me, right? But a lot of people coming in, you don't know that that's what you need. You don't know that you need some strength. You don't know that you need to work out, right? So they just come in thinking, well, I'm going to come in and they are going to get me in shape. When you come there, you don't know that you should already be in shape. You don't know that you should have some type of regimen or workout that you should be doing prior to that. So that is one of the struggles. And yes, we all do various workouts today. You can have individual workouts that you do because we're all not the same, right? We don't all get to the same point as the other person might. Like if we work out right together and you and I do the same thing, your goals might be accomplished quicker than mine. We're just two different people. We're made up differently. And that's to be expected.
Obviously, were you ever a paramedic?
No, I'm not a paramedic. I am
But
EMT,
EMT.
emergency medical technician. We're all EMTs, but I'm not a
That's
paramedic.
because most people may not even realize that first responders are usually the fire department.
They don't realize that. That's correct. Because when we come to their house, when they call 911, they're surprised. I didn't call you. I mean, I've gotten that a lot of time in my career. Like, why are you here? I don't need the fire department. I'm sick, and then we kind of explain briefly why we are there, and we are the ones to help them.
My mom had a medical episode, so we had to call, because she lives in Brown Deer, we had to call North Shore Fire Department.
Okay.
And as they were sitting there getting her vitals and everything, they always ask, how you doing? How you doing? And my mother said, well, if you're here, not good.
Or maybe, the attitude could be, well, if you're here, I'm going to be better.
No, she was just saying she must be in bad shape.
Yeah, because you're there.
You're there,
Right.
And they were very good. I mean, and I think people, we miss that a lot of times. Back in the day, it used to be that the police department was the first responders. If you called an ambulance, because actually the police department operated ambulances. And I only I know this is that I was a little guy at Fifth Street School, which is no longer open, and I had a real bad cut. I mean, I'm bleeding. It's like a sieve. I'm just bleeding, and I'm in the office, and I'm loving this. I'm getting all this attention. I'm in the office, and then I get to ride in the ambulance. This white ambulance pulls up. It's the police department. They put me in a little ambulance and take me downtown.
Okay.
But I came. My mother was a.
That was fun for you. Exciting.
Until
to be in.
Yeah. Until
an ambulance.
my mama.
Okay.
Who is a single mother. She's on the bus then. You don't call my mama to get off a job. You know that?
I know that, absolutely.
And they the only emergency room. And
It
I'm
better
sitting
be an
there and I was
emergency,
having a
a true
great time.
emergency.
I was smiling. And then I started crying. And the nurse said, why are you crying? I said, because here come my mother. And she gonna whoop me. Let me take off from work to come down here for you. I mean,
for your foolishness.
For your foolishness. I mean,
our parents didn't play that.
No, they didn't play that. I mean,
that wasn't how they were made up.
Yeah, because even she worked for the county for over 30 years.
Okay.
And she worked in medical records. And back in the day, they didn't have a phone down where she was.
Okay.
So she literally go from the basement to the second floor. So you call my mom at work. Somebody better die.
That's right. It better be real. It better be
Real that
serious.
she doing those stairs to come up. So you saw that.
No foolishness. Yeah.
No foolishness.
That's what my mother would say. Don't call me for no foolishness.
How did your family react when you told them that this is what you wanted to do?
I don't think that they were surprised.
Okay.
Because like I said before, I'm a person who liked to help people. They always saw that defender of the defenseless. I know,
The
right?
friend of the friendless.
Defender of the defenseless, right? So I don't think they were surprised about that because I also had joined the military,
I was
right?
gonna ask you,
So
did you have any
they
military?
were shocked about that. I mean, they weren't shocked in the sense that like, oh my God, it's the military. How's she going to be able to do it or go through it?
What branch?
The Army. They weren't shocked about that. They were just surprised that I just sprung it on them one day and I just said, I'm leaving next week versus telling them and getting them, ready for it. Yeah.
In these so-called untraditional roles.
Yes.
For women.
Right.
There's a young lady I know. She worked for AT&T. And if she wasn't the first, she's one of the first women to actually go up on the poles, on the utility poles to do the work. And so,
okay.
Do you think now that we can take away this term untraditional work for women when we look at people who are being, firefighters or things that were traditionally male dominated?
I think so in today's times because I mean, I don't even think that way anymore. And then, so I'm a mother, so I don't think that way. So I don't speak that way. And I didn't talk that way
Your daughter
in
is
my
your
family. Daughter. Yes. Daughter. And so I think so. I mean, because it's just there. It's a job. It's who you are. Same thing with the military, right? Police officers, firefighters, any other job out there, construction workers, the women are out there doing it. Right. So it's not a non-traditional thing anymore. It just is.
Yeah, that's especially during World War II, women went into jobs that normally women didn't work. They're working in factories and found out that in fact, a woman could do a job just like a man.
That's right.
And but for some
people,
people,
better.
If not, okay. It is Women's History Month. Sorry, my sister. No, I think, but and then, the challenge of it, right. I think that some people, you're an athlete, athletes love challenge, certainly physical challenge, mental challenges. So I think when it's kind of unusual. What was that like though, when you were in the firehouse? I mean, did you have your own?
So in the firehouse, even though I came on in 2004, they've had women on before that, right? So when I came on the department, there were women on before that. There were only 3 Black women, but there were women on the department. So the struggles and the challenges they had, I'm sure was pretty great, right? There were still struggles and challenges when I came on because the thinking, it's a culture, right? So the fire department, the police department, they're their own culture. So I'm speaking for the fire department because I'm not I don't work for the police department. And with that and that thinking, they still thought that women shouldn't be there or couldn't do the job or wasn't as strong, couldn't be as physical. The one thing that was the consensus of some of the men was that, oh, you can't save me. If something happens, how are you going to save me? Which doesn't make any sense because first of all, we're a team. Secondly, just like I would go in and save anybody else that would be in the house. That's what I do because that's what we're trained for. So yes, it was that thinking back then.
You came on the fire department 3 years after 9/11. Did that have any impact in terms of seeing how those first responders responded in New York and the number of firefighters who ended up losing their lives? They're also dealing with long-term in terms of now the issues, medical issues. Did that have any impact at all?
Not in a negative way. No, it didn't impact me in that, it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, let me just, this is my job, this is what's happening, and I'm afraid or something like that. No, not in a negative way. If anything, it just made me want to persevere more, and go and help, be there. Just like it with Katrina, they needed help there, for example, and firefighters went down there to help them. Same thing with the fires in California. You just want to go and help, so it's not about, for me, it wasn't about, oh my God, this is all dangerous. Nothing like that. I don't think that way.
And that's once in a lifetime, once in a century happening. If you just happen to be there,
that's right.
It's I remember they had a plane crash out at Mitchell Field, and I knew people on the sheriff's department. They were like the first responders, and how they needed counseling after, because it was horrific, right? They're saying you're seeing things that you're just not prepared for. And I think that has to be pretty difficult when you're a firefighter, that you go into situations and, you can see some things that are pretty horrific.
And that's something they can't train you for. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the academy, same thing in the military, but when you're in the academy going through the program, and they're training you to be firefighters, certifications and all of that, that's not something you can train for. What you're going to possibly see, and how you're going to feel. You can't train for that. You're just going to experience it and then go from there. And then know that, of course, you have the support of your firefighter family. We have EAP, we have other support groups if it's needed.
You are responsible for the Survive Alive house.
That I am, sir.
And I think about situations where we will hear, like, there was a fire and people lost their lives, and one of the things that we discover is, one, they didn't have an operating smoke alarm in the house. Or even a plan. A few years back, I was on another radio station, and we had this old furnace. Oh, this furnace was just old.
Did it talk to you? Make noise?
Oh man, that's how we knew it was on. That
Right.
furnace would be so loud. I don't even know now. I got a furnace now. I don't even hear, like, is the furnace on?
Right.
And it was the first time. It must have been the beginning of the season, so it was the first time we fired it up. And so you get the dust, the smoke. So there was smoke because it was old coming out. And it was amazing because we have God kids, and my wife had taught them this whole exit strategy.
Yes.
And I'm on the radio program, Jermaine, I'm live. And it's calling like this. And get a call. It is my wife. And she said the fire department is on its way. But she told me that the kids knew how to get their coats, get downstairs, and get out. She had a fire plan, and a lot of people don't necessarily have fire plans, right?
That's correct. And it's amazing that they don't. So what we teach at the Survive Alive house, we teach 2nd and 5th graders the exit plan or an escape plan, what to do if they're ever in a fire in their house. We give them the tools, the knowledge, and then they go through the firehouse or the house at our facility. And it's a Survive Alive house. It's not a firehouse, but it's a Survive Alive house. And they practice what we teach them, right? And it is amazing that parents, because, the kids rely on the parents, right? Don't practice this, or they don't know it. And they don't have working smoke detectors in their home. It's not something that they even think about. I had a kid who went through in 2nd grade, came back, and we talked, and they said that they had told their mom that they needed to change the smoke detector because it was chirping, it was making sounds. And the kid told the parent that you need to change it right now. And the parent's like, I'll get to it. And the parent was like, I'm going to get to it. And the kid kept saying, no, you need to change it right now. Who was just got so worked up and upset by it that they did change the battery. And I talked to the kid, and I also talked to the parent, because the parent gave me a call and was thankful of that, because why? The smoke detector the next week went off, and they didn't have a fire, but it went off. It alerted them, and they got up. So that amazing thing is that these kids will tell their parents, but we do need to have smoke detectors in our homes. That's so important. That's like one of the first lines of defense for us.
We're inside Community Voice. It always happens. We're joined in studio by Captain Belinda Bradley, the Milwaukee Fire Department. Caller, I see you. I'm going to grab you right after the break. We'll be right back.
You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice, and we're joined in studio by Captain Brenda Bradley. Belinda. I knew it.
Get it right. No,
Get
I'm
it
just
right.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
That ain't my name. It's your club name. But Captain Belinda Bradley, she's responsible for the Survive Alive house there with the fire department. We were talking before we went on break. You deal with second and fifth graders.
Second and fifth graders. That's our target. Yes.
Why? How is that? There must be some methodology there that made you decide on those. Well,
yes. So what happened is that between like 87 and 91, there were at least 68 children that died in fires between that age group, 7 and 12 years old. So the community, the Milwaukee Fire Department, Milwaukee Public Schools, they were all concerned, the mayor, and they were saying, how can we prevent this from happening? What can we do? One of the things, of course, would be smoke detectors, but what can we do to empower those kids? So there was a study done, and between 7 and 12, they said these are the kids that you should target at this point in time. And so that's why we do second grade and fifth grade. So they come through in the second grade, and then they learn the information. And then when they come back through the fifth grade 3 years later, then they are reintroduced or they're reminded of what to do. And it works.
So beyond, obviously something the kids don't control, whether or not there's a battery in the smoke alarm or not.
That's correct.
So they're raising the awareness level for their parents. But
Yes.
there are some things in terms of how people should try to exit or escape a fire, right? Is
Mhm.
that what they're taught?
Yes, they are. So when they go through our simulated house, so we teach them the tools, we teach them what to do. Yes, first of all, they should sleep with their door closed. Like I said earlier, the first line of defense would be the smoke detectors, right? Because that's going to alert them. Have them in the hallway next to the bedroom if they can't have more, if they don't have or can't afford to have more than one smoke detector. And let me just put this out there too. If a person doesn't have or a family doesn't have a smoke detector, they can always call the fire department and we'll put that in. That's 414-286-8980. So we want them to keep their door closed when they're sleeping in the bedroom, right? Because that's also a barrier protection for them if there's a fire. So we teach them to go at least have 2 ways out of the house. The first way is the easiest way, which would be the door, right? We ask the question sometimes of the kids, and they always say the window, which we don't know why that is. But the first way is always the door. The second way out is the window. And if they can't get out the window, meaning if they're on the second floor higher, if they're trapped in there, they just know that that door is going to provide that protection for them. Open the window, we tell them to scream and shout, throw out things like teddy bears or pillows to get the attention of other people. And the fire department is there within 3 to 5 minutes. We're pretty quick.
What about, isn't it one of these things that if you're crawling, do you walk out, do you crawl out, especially if there's smoke in the house?
Yes, we tell them to stay down low because, of course, smoke goes up first. So we tell them to stay down low where there's fresher air. Always stay low and crawl. And we tell them to check the door first before they open it. Check it with the back of their hand. If the door is warm or hot, that means there's fire on the other side, and we don't want them to go that way. We want them to go out their second way.
You said you were surprised when you said it was the window. What surprised you about it? Well, you've been trained, but what surprised you?
Well, it surprised me because you would think that the kids would say, hey, I get out. How do we normally exit our house? How do we normally leave our room? We leave through the door. But they would say the window.
Maybe they
I
heard
think
that
they're
song
just
from the window to the door.
to the walls.
To the wall, right? From window to
You
the wall.
are
So they think the
wrong for
window.
that.
That's like
They're not thinking that. They're second graders. That's
they
your
might.
generation.
I mean,
That's not-
subliminal
that's not
education
their
starts on a whole. What about this idea of making sure, and as much as you can, not panic? Not to run, not
to stay calm.
To stay
right.
calm.
We tell them to stay calm. That's why we practice. That's why we have that house there, which is a good thing, because it's a whole theatrical show. Right. So it's not just a house you go inside. It's a house that has 2 bedrooms. It's not a full house, but on the outside, it looks like a regular home. Has a porch. You go inside. There's 2 bedrooms. So they're in the bedroom and they practice. But when they practice, then that's when all the theatrics go on. There's the lights, the flickering lights. It looks like fire. There's smoke. Then we have sirens. So it's a lot going on for them. So to be in that environment, in a controlled environment where they're practicing, give them that confidence. And it also reduces the anxiety or the fear that they initially have when they come, because a lot of them do. And we talk about it in the classroom before we get started. And it's okay to have that, right? Because fear can be a good thing and guide us, but not to hinder us, or just not make us react or respond. Right. So we do talk about that with the kids.
So how do you, is it through MPS that you're getting the kids there? You also, how do people sign up? How do they take advantage of them?
That's a good question. It is through MPS. So during the school year, we focus on schools, private and MPS public schools. So we take all the private and public schools during the school year. So it's not open to the public, and we do schedule them. They come through. So we're open daily, Monday through Friday. And, as long as the school is open, we're up and operational. In the summer, we do have summer programs where people can contact us, and they can have the youth organizations come through. They can do tours. They can take advantage of the summer programs. And if they want to go through the fire safety part of it, they can do that as well. But during the school year, it's just for the school kids, second and fifth graders, private and public school, NPS school.
We have a caller. Caller, welcome to the program.
Sorry.
And then we dropped it. How long has this program been in existence?
So it started in 1992. So February makes it the 33 years in February. Wow. Yeah. So
what is that when you're on the academy grounds, what is that building out there that you see, that brick structure? Is that used for
the training
instruction?
academy tower?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
yes.
do you also use homes? I know this is kind of off what you do, but in terms of training like abandoned homes, do you all use some of those for firefighting too?
You're saying when people go through the training academy, so
right.
When there's an academy, so they do. But first you start off at the academy, yes, and they train in the towers, the training tower, and then once they get to the point of in the program or in the academy where they are to go out and work or practice on homes, they do that. They practice on homes as well, and then they do what's called a last burn, which they do go out, the house is on fire, and then they go through the whole scenario.
Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Keith. And good morning to your guest, Captain Bradley.
Good morning.
I have a short story. I was a stupid child at about 4 or 5 years of age, and I set my mother's first apartment on fire by playing with matches under the bed, which had, stuffing showing under the bed.
Yes.
It wasn't really a well put together mattress. We couldn't afford much back then. But by playing with matches, I got my mother booted out of her first apartment. And I thank God that I didn't get anyone killed. I would like to ask you, what is your diet like as a firefighter?
I guess I eat anything like anybody else. You want to work out, try and do the best you can like anyone else. There's no firefighter diet, right? Everybody tries to be as healthy as they can. However, we do have people that work with us if we need that. But for the most part, it's just regular diet like anyone else. It's not, we don't have any special firefighting diet.
But it's all, and I don't know how much of it's stereotype or myth, but you'd always look and you saw stories around fire departments and looked like it was pretty good eating.
It's always good eating.
It's always good eating.
It's always good eating. But, we're trying to be healthier as a department, right? And I think just individually, also people have their own individual goals as well. But we have some really, really good cooks at the fire department. And you're trained. If you can't cook when you come on, we'll teach you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So who's it? That usually that responsibility falls on the rookies?
No, it's usually the senior firefighter.
Okay.
And then the rookies, as you call them, when they come in, they're training because a lot of them are coming in. If they came through the cadet program, for example, they're starting at 18. And so, they're probably at home and they're getting meals cooked by, their parents, or they're doing some meals, not necessarily big meals, right? So when they come in, we don't expect them to know how to cook or what to cook or have a bunch of recipes. But then you have the cook and the sous chef, right? So you have the apprentice and the cook. So a lot of great cooks on our department, like I said.
And it's kind of, it makes sense because how's your shifts? What are
That's a good question. We work 24-hour shifts. So
Okay.
we work 24 hours on, we have 2 days off. So every 3 days we work, and then every month we have at least a day off. So you have that 5-day spread in there where you're off. But a lot of firefighters work 48 hours, right? So they're off only a day and then they go back to work
And work, they're there at the station.
at the firehouse.
Right,
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. They don't go home and come back and go. Well, some departments work differently. Like they may work a 12-hour shift. We don't. We work 24 hours.
The
Excuse me.
so when we talked about the Survive Alive house, man, 33 years.
33 years and going strong. We've educated. We've had over 400,000 kids come through our program. And it's really, it's really refreshing when you have teachers bring their students and they remember when they came through the Survive Alive house.
I think that one of the things that, and depending on the part of the city, I know the near south side, parts of the north sides have some of the oldest housing stock in the city, right? Which means that when you just look at fire potential and damage, it's probably a little bit, it could be a more catastrophic. I don't know, a few years back, God, I don't know if that was in the 80s or 90s, there was a family here, and I think like 7 kids had died in a fire over by 12th and Valete. But one of the things that they discovered was it was some of the oldest housing, and we talk about homes that's well over 100 years old. What about, I'm sorry.
So let me just say that a lot of the older homes, I know that they look like, they're just so old and they may fall down. I'm not talking about, those that are just disarray, disrepair. But those homes will hold a fire better than the homes today. For example, if there's a home like that that's on fire and I pull up and me and my crew and we're looking at it and we see that this is an older home, we know exactly about how much time we might have to be in there to put that fire out versus today's homes, which could fall immediately because of how they're made, the material they're made with. And so it's a little more dangerous in today's time.
It was one of the things, I didn't know this until they were talking about a couple of years ago, and they had this bad winter down in Texas and they lost power. And they were saying that in the South, you build houses so energy can escape, right? Heat can escape. Where here we build houses to keep
the heat in.
So that kind of contributes then to why you're able to go in and that structure be a little bit more sound.
No, it's just the way it's built. And the material was built from.
Okay.
And yes, it's different in different parts of the country, but here in our city, the materials are different. So if they're older homes, they can stand a little bit more fire, if you will, versus the newer ones. It's just the materials that it's made out of.
We talked about operating smoke detectors, obviously also carbon monoxide.
Absolutely. That's an ordinance. Every house should have carbon monoxide. Yeah.
And then what about fire extinguishers?
So I would suggest that everybody have a fire extinguisher. It's just like having a smoke detector. So, if a parent is cooking, maybe they're cooking blackened fish or chicken or something like that, something happens, they can have a fire extinguisher to quickly put out the fire. And then, of course, if not, and even if that happens, always call 911, always call the fire department so we can check and make sure there's no fire extension. It hasn't gone beyond what they can see, right? So that's always a good thing to have a fire extinguisher as well. You want to have as much as you can to help protect you and your family.
What about the importance of teaching kids how to use 911?
That's a good question because we do that at the Survive Alive house. So I think that especially with cell phones now, and I don't know if anybody knows anything about phone booths anymore. So, you used to just see those around, right? And you can go and use it and right, those pay phones and, and call, but now everybody has a cell phone for the most part, even kids, right? So they need to know how to call 911, even if their phone is locked, what to do. And because sometimes in an emergency, kids can panic. They may have a phone. If their phone is locked, maybe they don't remember the code or however they open their phone, right? But you can always access it, even if it's locked, call 911. So we teach them that, but we also teach them what an emergency truly is. An emergency is not when you are fighting with your little brother who took your toy, and now you're upset with him or her, or your sister, right? Emergency is not when, you can't find the remote and you can't change the channel on the television, right? An emergency is not when you have your PlayStation and it's not working. And oh my God, that is an emergency, and you call us to think that we can get it working for you. Right. So we do teach them what an emergency is. If someone is sick, if someone is hurt, of course, if there's a fire, if there's an accident, or if you're home alone, unfortunately, if that's the case and you're scared and something's going on, but you don't know what's happening, you can always call 911 and you can call 911 for fire and police.
My baby
Right.
goddaughter was so funny. She was telling the story and she said, yeah, they had to call 911.
Oh. Right.
I said 991. She said, yeah, they called 991. But yeah, be able to, how do you handle situations?
And how old is she?
She is 5.
Okay.
She must have heard something. You know, human beings we hear,
Right.
but then we don't hear.
Yeah.
You think you heard that, but that's not what it is.
Yeah.
We did a whole program on lyrics we thought we heard in the song, only
yeah.
probably further review. That wasn't what they were singing.
But I think if the kid can dial a phone, they're talking about 911, the parent or caregiver should show them how that's done, because it starts in the home. Education does. That's what I believe, right? And so you educate your child or the kids you're taking care of in the home. And that is one of the things you can start talking about. So it's in their head. So they'll know it's not 991.
But I think they corrected her.
No, I'm just saying. I'm sure.
No, I'm just saying, because when I was laughing, I was going like 991.
Because we have kids that come through and they're enthused and we'll say, well, what's the number to the emergency? And I'll say, when I teach the class, I say, what's the number to 911? 999. So they're all excited.
And I don't know, just this is kind of a little bit, it's related to this, but kind of not. Are they still doing fire drills in schools?
They're still doing fire drills in schools, yes, because they have the fire department out to watch them do the fire drills.
I know, because it was...
We observe their fire drills. So I think they do maybe 2 or 3 a year.
When I was working even when I was at the courthouse here recently, there would be like fire drills, evacuations, so we can evacuate the building. We live in a world now where we know it's not just always fires.
That's right.
And especially when you think about schools,
you have to have a plan.
You got to have a plan in terms of how the kids are. And it's really unfortunate that now we have to teach kids active shooting drills. Yes. That's kind of the world that we live in. But yeah, I just wondered, I'm sure they still are doing fire drills.
They are.
Yeah.
Like I said, because we go into the fire department goes into the schools and we observe them because they have us come in and observe the fire drills. But I think they do more than just one. It's just that we observe one for them and they probably do 2 or 3. That's one of the things we do talk about also as well in the Survive Alive house. So when they come through, we talk to them about that. So they know what a fire drill is. It is an escape plan. It's a plan. It's the same thing that you have. Like if you have a fire drill at school, it's like a fire drill at home.
Yeah. And for especially as adults, it becomes in their mind inconvenience. I got to get out, especially if it's cold. I got to go out in the weather until we have something where now
it's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
And because we even have where, at the courthouse, they have like leaders and you look for your flag, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's where your department is. So then we can account for everybody who was at work that day. We know that Keith was there, Belinda was there.
That's right.
And that we can show up. So
because when we come on the scene to a fire and we talk to whoever's around or the house, the owner of the house, and we ask, just like we tell the kids, is anybody in the house? Who's here? Who was all here tonight? You know what I mean? Because then we can kind of they can account for who was or was not in the house. So then we'll know if someone is missing, we know we'll be looking for that person particularly. And we always tell them never to hide. Like the caller said, he went under the bed and he was playing with matches, right? We tell him never to hide under the bed or in closets. Always stay outside of the closet, by the window, if they can't get out the door.
Can they call 911 for a cat in a tree?
No, that
Okay.
that is not an
Okay,
emergency.
thank you.
They
All
may
right.
call,
But you
know,
always
about
saw
their-
where, back
Right.
in there would be the fire
But then
department come
here's the
rescue
thing.
cats
And we talk about that too. If a cat ran up a tree, it can run back
back
down.
down. What about and this, and because people love their pets. What about
They
when
do.
pets are in the home?
So they just tell us. They let us know. And then we'll go and save their pets as well. We'll look for their pets as well. We will do that. But we also tell them as soon as if there's an emergency, because pets have this sense of,
Danger.
of danger. Exactly. And when you open the door, you may not know. Sometimes they run out right before you. They knock you down trying to get out, right? So they're out, or they will alert you too. They'll
Like
alert
black
their
people,
owners.
some get ready to jump off here. We
know
we got
And
this sixth sense.
That's
Like
right. It's
I ain't
just like,
feeling
I'm
something.
outta here.
I'm out of
We're leaving
here
right now.
We gone. It'd be just like, oh man, I know when I used to go to the movie theaters. Where is the exit?
Yes, you look.
Just in case some jump off up in this bad boy.
It's a plan.
It's a plan,
You
It's
have
just
to
like
have a
sitting on the
plan.
edge of that aisle,
That's right.
So I'm not in the middle. So it just be like,
It's a plan.
Captain Bradley, what a great conversation.
Well, thank you for having me. It was fun.
It was good, but I think
And
just
hopefully educational for the
Oh,
people out
very
there. And
much
make
so.
sure you have working smoke detectors. And if you need a smoke detector, please call the Milwaukee Fire Department hotline 414-286-8980. And we will come out and put a smoke detector in your home.
Captain Belinda Bradley,
Yes.
Stay Alive House, Lieutenant there. Captain, you're captain, you're not lieutenant.
No.
You talked about
Captain
your lieutenant
Belinda
journey.
Bradley
Captain.
at the Milwaukee Survive Alive House. We are located at 2059 South 20th Street.
Which is really funny because I'm looking right at her polo. And what's on that polo? Captain Bradley.
That's right.
Captain
Get
Belinda
it
Bradley.
right.
Appreciate
right.
you.
No,
Thank
just
you.
kidding.
No, yeah, get her. No, say my name.
That's right.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
But I also want to say that, I am one of 2 women captains on our job right now, right? The 3rd Black woman captain. We have quite a few women lieutenants, and I'm sure that they're aspiring to be captains as well. So I welcome them when they come in and they take that test and become captains.
Where Smoots, she is.
So she's retired, assistant chief.
She was assistant chief.
Yep, assistant chief. Yep, Smoots. Yes, she retired.
Did she?
Yes. So, like I was saying earlier, when I came on, there was 3 Black women. She was one of the 3. So it was Liz Ewing, firefighter Liz Ewing, retired battalion chief Stephanie Hampton. She was the first Black woman battalion chief. Then and then it was assistant chief Sharon Purefoy Smoots. So
Small Walkie.
She was small. She was the second captain. Rose
No,
up
because
to
you
the
know
rank.
these people. I mean,
Yes.
you know that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
if you grew up here at
absolutely.
a certain time, you
That's
knew
right.
or knew of. So
Yeah.
again,
And we're a younger department now. I don't know everybody on the department, but we are a great force. We have great people working for us, and they're out there doing it.
let me again thank Captain Belinda Bradley, Milwaukee Fire Department, Stay Alive House. Debo, thank
Milwaukee
you.
Survive Alive
Survive
House.
Alive House. You can host because I'm doing the office.
That's okay. And if people are interested who have youth organizations in the summertime, they can always call us as well to schedule to come through our program in the summer at 414-777-7889. Or they can also Google us, or Yahoo, whatever your search engine is, and find us there.
Debo, thank you. Jermaine, thank you. Hey, good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go for this place in peace.